podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for TWiT specials is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is TWiT Live special number 274, recorded February 23rd, 2016. Mobile World Congress 2016, Day 2. This TWiT Live special is brought to you by ZipRecruiter. Are you hiring? With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post to 100-plus job sites, including social networks, all with a single click. Screen, rate, and hire the right candidates fast. Try ZipRecruiter with a free 4-day trial now at ZipRecruiter.com/twit. We saw quite a few surprises on Mobile World Congress Day 1, from Mark Zuckerberg telling us about how he's going to bring the internet around the world to the release of some beautiful flagship phones from the major manufacturers in the game. I'm Father Robert Balacer, the digital Jesuit from TWiT TV, bringing you to Mobile World Congress 2016, Day 2. If you've watched me on TWiT TV, you know that this is my personal notebook. I've carried this Acer S7 for close to 3 years now. It's been my choice for portable power. But my choice of phones has vacillated between the major manufacturers. Luckily, Acer is here to give me another option. I'm speaking with Chris Evans from Acer, who's going to explain why your future might be colored in Jade. Chris, can you tell me a little bit about the Liquid Jade 2?
Sure. Liquid Jade 2 is a new flagship model that we're launching here at MWC this year. There's two models. There's the Windows variant, Jade Primo, and there's this variant which is running on Android.
What I love about the Windows version, of course, is that it supports the continuum mode. So if you have a dock, your phone can be your desktop, can be your laptop, can be your mobile device, can be your at-home device. Now, as far as the Android device is concerned, our audience is very tech-savvy, so dazzle us with the tech specs.
Tech specs, so it's got a 5.5-inch Full HD screen. You want me to? 5.5-inch Full HD screen. It's got a 21 megapixel camera on the back, an 8 megapixel camera on the front. It's got a hexa-core 1.8 gigahertz Qualcomm processor. What else can I tell you about it? It's got 32 gig of memory and 3 gig of RAM. So it's a pretty powerful machine.
Now, it does have an absolutely gorgeous screen. Of course, the stream is not going to do it justice. It is full AMOLED, which means that only the pixels that are engaged are using power, which is why I love the fact that one of your covers is a magnetic cover that is a cutout in the middle. So if you're always looking at your phone to look at notifications or time, it only lights up the pixels in the middle of the screen, and it allows you to save power.
Absolutely, and another advantage of that, like I say, it saves power because only you're illuminating the pixels that you need, where it's not backlit. So you're absolutely right. And we do have on the other side of the booth, we've got the showing the flip cover and with the special UI that we have for this product.
I have to ask. I mean, I have been a fan of Acer for a while. It's what I spend my money on. It's what I've bought for my personal gear. But I got to ask, where is Acer going with this? I've seen some branding movement in the last couple of years with the Predator line, with the success of the Acer S7, now with the Jade line. What is Acer trying to do? What kind of environment are you trying to build?
So with the Jade brand, we're trying to. This is going to be like a premium brand. So we've got we've had several devices over the last sort of 2 years in this Jade lineup. So we started with the Jade 3G device about 2 years ago, a very slim, elegant device. And now we're up in the specs and improving the specs from that point of view. So we've got the Jade Primo, as I mentioned, the the Windows 10, and now we've got bringing out this variant on Android, which is everyone's favourite operating system in the world of mobile phones, or seems to be at the moment. Over 80% of the world are using Android.
Now we need to move to the question that a lot of people are reluctant to answer at Mobile World Congress, and that is pricing and availability. If they were looking to get their hands on the new Android phone from Acer, when will it be available? Where will it be available? And do you have a pricing point yet?
So pricing, I don't want to comment too much on pricing at the moment, but we're planning to launch first in Asia, and then we're going to look at rolling out across into Americas and possibly into Europe later in sort of Q2.
Chris, thank you very much for sharing your tech with us. Now, if the audience wants to find out more about Acer, more about the Jade 2, more about what you've got for both Android and the Windows ecosystem, where can they go?
They can go to the Acer website. Everything's there, acer.com.
Again, Chris, thank you for speaking with us. We're here at the Acer booth showing off some Technolust, and if you're looking for a complete ecosystem, well, Acer wants you to be Jade. virtual reality gets all the buzz at these big conferences, but there is one technology that I think could give it a run for its money, and that's AR, which is why I'm here at Intel with Recon and Richard to tell you why AR is the future of wearable technologies. Richard, what is this wonderful looking device on this handsome mannequin?
Well, it's a great device that really helps improve performance and stay connected. So if you think about performance in cycling or in running, a lot of the challenge is that you can't keep your focus on what you're doing if you're always looking at your wrist or looking for your phone. So what we've done with this Recon Jet is provide that information on the heads-up display. So right at your eye view, which is not distracting, you can understand how fast you're running, your pace, your cadence, your speed if you're cycling. You can also get notifications, so notifications, text, email, and calls, so that you can still stay connected without disrupting your performance and disrupting your exercise. It's also great. It has a camera. If you want to be social, you can take pictures and take video and get other apps through there through the SDK in the Engage software. So it's a really exciting product. I think people are going to be able to perform better, stay connected, and feel better. So.
Well, Richard, there are other companies who have introduced AR products. In fact, there's a lot of them, from Epson and from, of course, Google with Google Glass. Your design is different. I'd say it looks more ready to go out into the world. Run me through the design, the hardware choices. What have you created here?
Well, what we've created is something that's very functional, very durable, but very light as well. So with the goggles, you can have different lenses. So if you want something that is more for sunshade, or if you want something clear, or if you need to have your own prescription, you can allow that flexibility. We wanted something here from a hardware, so the heads-up display, again, was very functional, gave you a very clear view, but did not disrupt your vision, so that you can focus on the road and focus on what you're cycling. From the hardware itself, it's light and functional, very durable. So we did design it for active sports, so biking and cycling. And it has various features that are changeable. So you can change out the battery, you can change out the lenses, and really make it customized to you. So we think it's something that is very unique to the individual runner or cycler.
I really like the fact that you've made this for the active life, because when we think about wearable technologies, most of the time it's about data acquisition. It's a fitness band or it's a watch that can tell whether or not I'm moving. We don't have a lot of really good devices for always giving information back to the user. That's what AR gives us. Where do you expect to find this? I mean, I know you've got several partners here at the Intel booth, but as we get into more and more active wearable technology, where do you see that being in the future?
Well, I see it in all kinds of places. Definitely in active sports and action sports. Definitely see it in enterprise. When you think about how people are getting information and being able to do something with that information without being distracted. So you can keep your focus on what you're doing and still get information relayed to you right away. So if you think about enterprise opportunities, you think about active sports, various sports, things that were information that you can get real-time feedback and still continue to do what you want to do is perfect. And so I think that there's a lot of application that we'll continue to see in the future.
Richard, thank you very much for speaking with us. Thank you for sharing your technology. Now, if they wanted to find out more about Intel, more about Recon, where could they go online?
They could go to intel.com or they can go to recon.com as well.
There you have it, folks. The future. Get Intel. Get Recon. Get augmented. Right now in the United States, privacy, well, it's a dirty word. Depending on what side you fall on, you either think it's a weapon of mass destruction or the way to save ourselves from our overlords. But what if you had a way to take that privacy concern into your own hands? What if there was a device that could guarantee you end-to-end protection for your voice, for your data, for pretty much everything? Well, folks, stop imagining it because it's real. I'm speaking with Mikko from XXLsec from Finland, who has developed a product that puts the power of privacy into your hands. Mikko, what is this?
This is actually end-to-end encryption for any kind of smartphone, anywhere, anytime, any location. The beauty of it is that you can use your current infrastructure of the mobile phones. You don't have to change any of those. All
right. That's a lofty statement there. And there are other companies who say they offer that, and it's turned out that they don't. So why, if you'll excuse me, should I believe you? Why should I believe that you when you say you have an end-to-end encryption solution?
What we do differently is actually that we take the encryption method away from the typical hardware, the smartphone. We don't use the regular smartphone chipsets, we don't use the regular operating systems, we create everything on our own device. That's the difference.
Oh, that is important because one of the Achilles heels of any encryption software has been at some point it needs to end up on a phone that you don't control. Someone else built it for you, someone else manufactured it, someone else put the operating system on, and if there is a weakness built into that operating system, suddenly you have a weakness in your encryption. What you've done is you've taken the phone out of the equation. All the phone is doing is providing a connection, and as long as that connection is stable, you have a way to connect two endpoints. Now, between those two endpoints, it's 100% 256-bit AES encryption.
Right. That's really the beauty of it. And actually, what we use from the regular smartphone is just a user interface. You just select the other counterparty, your private call contact, you make the call, and everything after that happens in our device.
All right, let's show them what the device looks like. Now, this is just a mock-up. You did not bring the products here because...
Obviously, this is not the place to bring up your, let's say, prototypes. We want to keep it secure and safe.
But this device is about the size of a pack of cards. And on one side, you have an earphone jack and a USB port. Yeah. Now, what this does is it will connect wirelessly via Wi-Fi to your phone. Correct. It encrypts in this box, in the hardware, goes through your connection to the other endpoint and unencrypts on that other box. So between the two endpoints, there is no way to intercept it. If you were to intercept it, all you would get is garbage.
Yeah, all you would get is just data, basically, which doesn't tell you anything, and it's encrypted already when it leaves from our device to your regular smartphone, and that's safe from there already.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the encryption, because we have some pretty tech-savvy geeks in our audience. They're going to want to know about the key method. Now, the keys are important because they are the keys. They allow you to unlock the encryption. What does your product do to guarantee that, A, the keys are unique just to the endpoints, and B, that they're changed frequently enough that they can't be compromised?
Well, we are basing everything on the OpenSSL, so anybody can check our code. It's fully transparent. And when you actually have the private call ongoing, the device itself is changing the keys after a couple of seconds. Then you have new keys, and there is no way to track it.
And I think that's one of the other selling points. When we talked about this on This Week in Enterprise Tech, the fact that you allow your software to be viewed. It is open source, so anyone can take a look at the code to make sure that there are no vulnerabilities, there are no backdoors, there are no weakened keys that are inserted into the code.
Right. This is exactly what we wanted to do. Make it fully transparent so it's visible to everybody. So if you have any doubts, you can check the code can be verified.
Okay, let's take this to the next level. This gives us encryption of our phone calls, but you have actually built a feature in here that would allow me to, especially in an enterprise environment, encrypt data. Tell me about how that works.
So we could do the same, utilize the same platform for data, any kind of email, chats, or any kind of other data. Even live maps could be one possibility. But I mean, this is something which is coming in the future for the next version. The calls is really something which is at the moment the most interesting one because nobody is actually concentrating on it. I mean, if you do business in the US, it's really that the people are actually, they say that I cannot set this in the email, but I rather call you. So, and nobody's actually doing anything for encrypting the calls in a higher level.
We will definitely need to get our hands on this solution. We'll have to test it. In fact, I'll bring it to DEF CON. I'll let the hackers pound on it to see if they can find anything. But I got to ask, where do you see this solution becoming popular? Obviously, definitely in the enterprise. But who is your ideal customer? Who is going to be the person, the user who says, I want a solid hardware-based end-to-end encryption system?
We see that the greatest potentiality for our device is exactly the big corporations, the management teams which are all over the globe. They need to have the conference calls between them. They probably are involved in the mergers and acquisition processes, and these are the things, these are the confidential matters which you don't want to spread out to the world. So definitely big public corporations is the mainstream.
Mikko, thank you very much for speaking with us. Thank you for sharing XXLsec's brand new device. If they want to find out more about the priv call, if they want to find out when it will be available, if they want to find out what the pricing is going to be like, where can they go?
Either XXLsec.com or privcall.com. Both are available.
Thank you again. And folks, your privacy in your hands. When I landed in Barcelona, I needed to pick up a SIM for my phone from Vodafone. Now, it was a long line, but it wasn't nearly as bad as trying to get a SIM from, say, China or Brazil, where not only do you have to go through a security precaution, but sometimes you just straight up can't get a SIM. Now, you could go through that trouble every time you land, especially if you're a frequent business traveler, or you could just go to NoRoaming. I'm here at the NoRoaming booth at Mobile World Congress speaking with Dominic, who's going to explain why this is the future of global travel. Dominic, what is NoRoaming?
So NoRoaming is a mobile network operator. We, as opposed to operating in local countries, go out and aggregate different roaming agreements onto our platform. Originally, when we came out back in November 2014 with our sticker solution, what we were offering to customers was a delivery mechanism so that you could access roaming services anywhere around the world. We've decided to take this now a step further with our partnership with TCL Alcatel. Going forward, TCL Alcatel devices are going to have what we call software SIM technology built into it. This is not to be actually confused with the eSIM technology that uses a chip. Everything here runs directly, natively inside an app. So when you look at here, the user lands abroad. Let's say like you landed here in Barcelona, you wanted to get a Vodafone SIM. Instead of doing that, you'd log in or go directly into your NoRoaming app, and from there you'd be able to pick a package, and then from a click of a button, simply say, I want to enable or disable a SIM. Nothing is actually done in hardware, so the beauty of this for manufacturers is that overnight they can enable entire user bases to have this technology. And from the user's perspective, what's better than from a button press to decide whether you want to use the SIM or whether you not want to use the SIM? In this situation, right now, you are roaming on NoRoaming with nothing actually enabled. And then from a button press, you come back home, you disable it, and you're good to go for your next trip.
I have to say, I really could have used this a few days ago when I got to Barcelona, because I took my SIM out in order to put in the Vodafone SIM, and I've lost it. So that when I get back to the United States, I will have no connectivity until I get a replacement. Now, the other part about this is, and I'm a big fan of the enterprise, this sounds like the perfect solution for a mobile workforce. If you're sending your employees abroad, there's nothing like being able to enable their phones to communicate in the country that you're sending them to. Have you reached out to the enterprise?
We have at NoRoaming both a consumer solution as well as a corporate solution. So we've been working with large corporate companies, particularly on the sticker side. Once the phone launches, we're going to be working on a corporate enterprise solution as well. And the beauty of this for corporate enterprise is that you don't have to go and now hunt people down to give them SIM cards and transfer things around. You just say, hey, listen, John Doe, log into this account. This is your roaming account. And then when Jane travels, she can also use that account. So that gives them the ability to cycle through different accounts and then just simply through an email say, this is your account, log into your phone, away you go.
All right, our folks at home are pretty tech savvy, and they're going to want to know if they were looking to use this. Let's say they're planning some summer travels. What would they need to do? I mean, obviously, a lot of them are going to have non-Alcatel phones, but what were the steps that they could take to try to use NoRoaming? Sure.
So right now, if you go to our website, NoRoaming.com, we offer our SIM sticker that comes with free credit. You can order it there online. We're also coming out with, for tablets and M2M devices, a SIM card that you can use. So if you're a person that doesn't have a home SIM and you just say, hey, listen, I really want to use NoRoaming, directly from there, you order the SIM, pop it into your phone. We have an intuitive, easy-to-use app that's available online. You register, put some credit on, you're ready to go.
Thank you very much for sharing this with us. This is something that I think everyone at Mobile World Congress needs to know about. Thank you for sharing your technology with us. And folks, if you know roaming. From CES to TechCrunch, 3D displays have been on the rise. But till now, we haven't seen any that have truly captured the imagination. Well, that changes here at Mobile World Congress at Synaptics. I'm speaking with Andrew, who's going to explain why Leia may be our only hope. Andrew, what is this?
So Leia is a startup based in Menlo Park, California, and Synaptics has been fortunate to partner with Leia to produce a 3D holographic display system that is also controllable through our hover touch technology. So what you're seeing there is actually a 5.5-inch display that through Leia's technology enables a glasses-free holographic display system. And with the Synaptics technology, you can actually literally manipulate the object that you're seeing there by hovering your finger over the display. So what I'm going to show you right now is my finger, which is hovering about 1 centimeter above, manipulating the skeleton that you see there. And by moving left and right, I can rotate it to the left and right, and up and down, I can manipulate and rotate the skeleton.
Now, I've seen this kind of technology. It's sort of a lenticular display, but I have to say that this has an incredible viewing angle. Most lenticular displays that I've seen, like the ones at CES this past January, you had to be dead spot on. I've got a good 60 degrees of angle here and still get the 3D effect.
That's correct. So one of the really nice attributes about this display is that you've got about plus or minus 30 degrees from the left to the right, and about plus or minus 15 degrees on the vertical to have the 3D experience, and that's done through Leia's proprietary technology to really maximize the 3D quality over the widest viewing angles.
Let's talk about that interface, because that's what Synaptics is known for. You do interface really, really well. I've got that hover touch, so I don't actually have to be touching the screen. How are you doing that?
So we're using Synaptics' capacitive technology, and because of our best signal-to-noise quality for our touch controllers, we're able to extend our touch sensitivity to a couple centimeters beyond the touch surface without having any noise impact on the system. And you combine that with the 3D sensing technology, and it really feels like you're manipulating these objects. It creates a very compelling illusion, much more so than some of the earlier demonstrations of hover interaction on the handsets that we've been releasing.
I have to ask, where do you see this being applied? I mean, it is obviously very interesting technology, very cool technology, but what are the real world deployments that I might make of Leia?
Well, beyond the ability to manipulate and visualize 3D objects without having to wear glasses or any special VR, I think that you can see a new generation of user interfaces that really take advantage of sort of the 3D quality, of these displays. The best feature of all is that you can look around and it's just you can turn it all off and use it as a standard 2D system, as you can see with the display quality. But now, if you need the 3D-ness to appear, you can turn it right back on, and all of a sudden you've got a 3D system within the same device.
Andrew, thank you very much for sharing your technology with us. Now, if they wanted to find out more about Leia, more about Synaptics, more about what you do both with display and with touch, where can they go?
Well, the easiest place to go, of course, is on the internet, www.synaptics.com for Synaptics' technology, and www.leia3d.com, to learn more about the Leia system.
Thank you very much. This has been the Leia from Synaptics, and remember, many Bothans died to bring us this technology. Look around the halls of Mobile World Congress, and you may see the companies that are the superstars of the tech world. But what I see are the employees. The people who bring the talent, the inspiration, the skills to make the best billion-dollar market on the planet. Well, the way that you get those employees, the way that you get those skills, the way that you get the experience that you need to become that next billion-dollar company is by hiring the right people, which is why we're happy to have ZipRecruiter as a sponsor of this TWiT Live special. Now, ZipRecruiter understands that in order to get those employees, in order to get the talent that you need to take your company to the next level, you need to cast your net as wide as possible. Which is why with one click, you can cast that net to 100 plus job sites, social networking sites, pretty much everywhere you need to go to get the employees that you need. Now, ZipRecruiter is a place for you to not just get that talent, not just to get that talent easily, but also for you to find the right fit for your culture. No one knows more than the people who have to hire that if you hire the person with the right skills, but is not quite fit for your workplace, it's just not going to work. So ZipRecruiter does everything in its power to make sure that you get the right match. Of course, you don't have to listen to me. Just listen to Scott, who is a real happy ZipRecruiter client who says, the recruiting process used to be so painful. Before I'd post to several places, get 1 million resumes, but only a few responses from qualified candidates. It was torture. But with ZipRecruiter, we post once and get qualified candidates in one easy-to-review place. We've hired some of our best employees using ZipRecruiter. Now, why not take Scott's advice? Why not go with the company that cares about the employees that you get and make sure that you have the firepower you need? Try it today. Today, you can try ZipRecruiter just for free. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/twit. That's ZipRecruiter.com/twit. Hire your future today. And we thank ZipRecruiter for their support of this TWiT live special. Most of us love our electronic devices, and, well, I'm no different. This phone has seen it all. It's been around the world. It's been dropped. It's been crushed. It's been smashed. It survives pretty much everything. That is except water. Water is the Achilles heels of electronics because, well, they're electronics. We've had a lot of companies say that they can protect our electronics with differing results, but we have one product here that Steven says will actually do that. I'm here at P2I, and Steven, what do you do that will protect my phone from, say, the rain?
We have a nanocoating technology that has today protected over 100 million electronic devices, and we protect from water and corrosion damage from accidental splashes and spills.
We've heard these claims before. There are companies that say we have nano coatings that molecularly adhere to the electronics and keep water from ever coming into. I can go on and on ad nauseum. What do you actually do that you think is what works?
So we have a high reliability and repeatability with our technology. It takes the whole device and provides protection from water ingress and therefore water damage. And we've proven this, that 50% reduction in field failure return rates because of the presence of splash-proof technology.
All right. Okay. That's a bold claim. Show it actually working.
Okay, let me demonstrate the technology for you. I have an untreated paper tissue. If we take that and introduce it to water, not surprisingly, it absorbs it very quickly. No commercial value in doing that. But if I take that same tissue that we've treated with the splash-proof technology, when I now introduce it to water, rather than absorbing it, it completely repels it. Now, I'm no sleight of hand magician. That is going under the water. And so imagine that technical effect on your mobile phone.
I've seen demonstrations like this that look fantastic when I'm dealing with materials like cloth, but then when it comes to electronics, it doesn't quite work. Can you show me that P2I actually will work for something like, say, a tablet?
Absolutely. So let me give you this other demonstration here. So we provide a full range of solutions, so from simple splashes and splays right the way up to immersion underwater. So what I've got here is a treated board. So if I drop the water onto here, this has got a current going through it. Let me turn that on. And then when we apply it to the untreated board, what you'll see is instant corrosion damage. Now imagine what would happen if your phone allowed water inside. This is what would happen here, instant corrosion damage. So for the people who provide physical barrier layers, so like a gasket O-ring, that can protect water to start with, but if you drop that device, it gets dislodged, or there's a manufacturing issue, water gets inside, it fries that board. So you need P2I technology to protect from that damage.
Okay, now that's impressive, especially since this, I'm watching this in real time. This is a coated board, this isn't a non-coated board, and I can already see corrosion. So that's what would be happening inside my phone if I were to, say, do one of the infamous toilet drops. But one more question I can imagine our audience having is, does this wear off? So if I get my device coated, or if I get a device that's been coated with P2I technology, how long will it last, and how long can I expect to stay protected from the elements?
Great question. So this technology will last as long as the product it's applied to. Remember, this is on the internals of the device, so it's protected by the cover anyway, and the battery case. So this is lasting forever.
Stephen, forever is a long time, but I believe it. Now, if they want to find out more about P2I, more about your process, more about how the technology actually works, where can they go online?
www.p2i.com.
Thank you very much for sharing your technology with us, and thank you for what is probably one of the better demos that we've seen here at Mobile World Congress. Folks, P2I, don't get left out in the rain. There are a lot of claims about 5G. Who has the first? Who has the best? Who has the fastest? But we thought we should go to the source, which is why we're here at Nokia, and I'm speaking with Todd Sizer from Bell Labs, who's going to explain exactly what goes into making 5G. Todd, thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thanks so much. So 5G is really solving a problem, a human problem. And what is the human problem? The human problem is that people are using their mobile devices for more and more. And so we need to continually grow our networks to have more capacity, be able to have more connections. In addition, people are using their mobile devices in new ways for new things, interacting with machines for Internet of Things, interacting with cars for car-to-car and accident avoidance. So having solutions in 5G that not only can grow the network, but also have new types of applications is key. And what 5G really is?
Now, for the people in our audience who are even a little bit savvy, they heard a couple of key words there, and that is more devices, more bandwidth. Yep. That's what we expect, that's what we want, but we know those are normally opposites. As you get more devices, you decrease the amount of bandwidth per device, or as you increase the amount of bandwidth for a particular device, you decrease the number of devices you can serve simultaneously. That's right. 5G is supposed to get around that, but it seems like voodoo. How would that actually work?
So there are two ways we're attacking that problem. The first is by changing the way that the protocols on how we ask for permission to talk and how we ask permission to send. And by changing those, then you can make those happen a lot quicker. Typically in today's networks, you have 13 different exchanges. Can I talk? Yes. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So we took that 26 message exchange and reduced it to 2. So if you can only do everything in 2 messages that you could do in 26 before, you've increased the capacity by a factor of 13 immediately. So that's one way. The other way is by using lots of antennas, using space. And so what I show here is a massive MIMO antenna. It has 160 different ports coming out of it. And by using space, you can serve more people because you have dedicated beams going, 8 dedicated beams at the same time in the same area where heretofore you only had 1. So factor of 10 before, a factor of 8 here. You see how we're able to get the growth dramatically increased.
And so what we're doing is we're actually dividing up the space into unique angles for each and every single beam.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And this is just the start. This is just 8. So in the labs, we're working on devices that are much more sophisticated. This increased to 8 to even higher numbers.
Now let's talk about some of those devices, because up this pole here, we have an interesting device. Looks very innocuous, but this is one of the most advanced pieces of gear on the floor. Tell me about this.
So one of the new technologies that we're bringing out for 5G is millimeter wave technology. Millimeter waves are a portion of spectrum that normally we have never used for mobility for cellular applications before. But because we're starved for spectrum, we're moving to frequencies we never used before. What you see here is a solution at 90 gigahertz, so much, much higher frequency. And we actually have right there a single IC that has an array of devices that form a beam that you can point, similar to the one that I showed you before, but at a different frequency. In that particular chip, we can send 20 gigabits per second over a beam that we point to an individual user. So much higher data rates and much better integration because it's at a very high frequency, so the antennas are very, very small. So in a space you'd have an antenna such as I showed you before, you could have tens of thousands of antennas in the 90 gigahertz range. So new technology, solving new problems, increasing the data that you can send, which is part of what 5G needs to do.
One of the bits of secret sauce that Nokia is bringing to the 5G game is that you have realized it's better to use multiple frequencies. It's better to use multiple technologies, to put them together so that when one falters. For example, we know that millimeter wave radio can be absorbed by the oxygen molecules in the air. Another radio frequency will pick up the slack. Tell me, how are you designing your solutions to use multiple techs?
Well, 5G is the first real generation where we don't assume that we're replacing everything in the past. It is saying we understand that 4G, the LTE, and 3G and Wi-Fi are going to be there. And in fact, the end user doesn't give a hoot if they get their information from over Wi-Fi or 5G or millimeter wave. They just don't care. And so the complexity of choosing which way of connecting to the user is a complexity that my team should be thinking about, not the end user trying to figure out whether they should turn on Wi-Fi or whatever. So that complexity. Now, so taking advantage of those multiple ways of connecting is beneficial. Now, the one that you pointed out is particularly crucial, and that is if you're able to connect on multiple access technologies, say Wi-Fi and LTE and 5G at the same time, you now have 3 ways of connecting to that user. So if one gets a little bit congested or a little bit of interference because somebody decides to cook a coffee in the microwave and your Wi-Fi goes down, then you have other 2. And so providing a consistent, always connected, always wireless connection. Doing that by having multiple legs is key. So that's our focus in Nokia in 5G. System of systems. How can we pull together a system that has new benefits we'll bring in 5G, new high speeds we'll bring in millimeter wave, but then leverage the existing sources of access out there. They're not going away. LTE is not going away. Wi-Fi is not going away. So why shouldn't I take advantage of those to serve the end user better?
Todd, now this has just been a sampler. We're hoping to get you onto the network at some point so you can discuss these technologies in depth. Now, if they wanted to find out more about Nokia, if they wanted to find out more about the technologies that you've been developing, where could they go online?
So go to Nokia.com, and there are links there that can take you to our 5G portfolio and white papers that explain in more detail system of systems. I mean, look for system of systems. It'll tell you more about our thinking about why this is important, where the new innovation is from Cumming Bell Labs, and why you should care.
Thank you very much for speaking with us. Thank you for sharing this tech. I know our audience really appreciates it. Folks, stay connected, stay right, stay with Nokia. 2 years ago, while covering CES, we found the Epson Moverio, a fantastic set of AR goggles that allowed us to change what we thought was possible with augmented reality. Today, we're taking a look at this. This is the third generation of the Moverio gear, the BT300. Now, what has changed about this is, well, I think more than I can say it, we should speak with Marc-Antoine. Marc, this is really a quantum step forward in what AR can do. Tell me a little bit about what you've changed with the BT300.
It is a very big step forward for the smart eyewear devices. So the main change, in addition of the specification that have improved and the design that is becoming even lighter and more compact, is the technology that you can find inside. So this is the first product introducing our Epson silicon-based OLED technology. So what we have now in the side is two OLED micro display that are projecting in the same way that we were doing before, but the quality of the display and the benefits of the OLEDs are perfect for augmented reality. So in addition of having now a 720p resolution display, what we have is a much better contrast ratio. So this means that now blacks becomes truly black. The frame totally disappear when you are in an augmented reality content. So this means that when you are overlaying digital content on top of the real world, you don't have the impression to be looking at a screen. It's really like the content is just there floating, and it's really hard to tell if you are looking into the glasses. So that comes in addition of, like I said, improved specifications. So from the camera perspective, with a 5 megapixel camera, so a big step forward as well from the BT200, but also the guts of the product. So now it's integrating an Intel CPU, one of the latest quad-core CPU, which is really powerful and really enables to render 3D heavy content. So again, really important for augmented reality. So you are really going to be able to render 3D objects like floating there in front of your eyes. And again, it's very important because it's not just the technology step forward, but it's a technology step forward that is available, that is going to be available very soon later in the year. And Epson has been working on Moverio now for almost 5 years, because we released our first generation in 2011, and since then we have been delivering products. So today we are showing prototypes, but this will become a full product that will be fully available from around October this year. So that makes a big difference as well, is that it's not just a development kit or something, is that something that you can easily get your hands on and start building and creating new things. So
I started by looking at the first generation, and the second generation was so much better. The display was better. The fact that it could really stick the layers, so the augmented reality callouts would stay exactly where they needed to be, was better. But we just tried on the BT300s, and you were absolutely right. The display, especially with those OLEDs, it's much more clear. The blacks are true black because the pixels aren't even on, and you do get a beautiful, transparent experience, while at the same time not making everything look ghosted, which is not a mean feat. But the important thing for me has been the effort that Epson has put into your partners, because as we all know, you could have the greatest gear possible, but if you don't have developers, if you don't have people who are coming out trying the gear, trying to do something with it, you don't get a nice effect. What is Epson doing, and who are your partners in creating those next killer apps?
So yes, you are totally right. So hardware and software are really complementary, and this is where the magic from, when you provide the right software on the right hardware. And so at Epson, since the beginning, so we have really been focusing our efforts on building an ecosystem around our product, and we are still working really hard on this. So working with software development companies all around the world. So this is also something, a big strength for Epson, is that our products are globally available, and our partners, they can really count on us to deliver. So that's really important. And yes, we have been working with many software development partners to build application for a wide range of, especially commercial usages, for instance. So working with companies providing software for museums or historical sites and art and culture in general. So for instance, if you go to the Pisa Tower in Italy, you can rent our Moverio BT300 with a software provided by one of our partners working with specifically on providing augmented reality content for smart eyewear. We have partners working on retail application or providing our glasses to dentists. So it's really, really rewarding to be working as well with these partners, because every day we see some new usages popping up, and we are really constantly reinventing what is possibly done. So that's an amazing experience, and yes, and we are really inviting any software developers to just contact us. So we are really happy to help you build application, whatever it's for personal usage, or if you want to find a new way to use the glasses, or build more commercial application, more as well, even industrial application, because we have a very full range covering all the possible uses of smart eyewear devices. So,
Marc-Antoine, thank you very much for speaking with us. I love what Epson has done with the smart glasses. I love what you've done with augmented reality. If they wanted to find more about the Moverio line, about the BT300, about your partners, where should they go online?
So you can visit our Moverio web pages on epson.com or epson.eu. And I also invite you to go on epson.eu/MWC, where you can find everything we are showing today on the booth, so the different demonstration, as well as the partners that have helped us providing all these amazing experiences, and product information and case studies as well of all the projects that I've mentioned.
Marc-Antoine from Epson. These are the Epson smart glasses. Remember, reality, so much better than virtual. There are a lot of phones in this hall with great sensors, with great features, but there's only one that includes an IR sensor. I'm speaking with Peter Stevens from the Bullet Group, who's taking a look at the Cat phone. Now, you have taken FLIR technology, the FLIR 1, which we have seen on the TWiT TV network before, and you've built it into a mil-spec phone. The first question has to be, why?
Well, this is a great partnership with us and FLIR. We produce a Caterpillar rugged phone. We talked to our customers, and we talked about what they really wanted out of their device that could help them do their work day in and day out. And it just became a natural extension for what CAT stands for, and Caterpillar and rugged devices, and how we can help our customer base. And so we're really super serving a very specific vertical in the construction space, the plumbers, the electricians, also people who work outside, security people, military people. And so FLIR and Caterpillar just made sense for us to come together.
It definitely is an industrial application, a professional application, but it is interesting, cool, fun tech nonetheless. Can you guide us through how this actually works?
Sure. So what we've got is a thermal device, a thermal camera, also coupled with a normal camera as well, so that part of the real beauty of this is the fact that it's not only looking at a thermal image, but you're also getting the camera to integrate with the thermal. And so you've got both the thermal camera here and the normal camera. So the benefit of having both is that you can see greater outlines, whereas just a thermal camera, you don't see as much detail. So a thermal camera might be appropriate for professional alone, but when the professional is talking to a customer and trying to work with them about how to fix their insulation in their house, talking to the housewife about a window which has a lot of heat escape, it helps for that combination of the camera and the thermal to be together. And so it just makes a better use process, not only for the expert, but also for the layperson.
Now, our more experienced, our veteran audience knows that we've seen this technology at places like CES and Interop, where FLIR has demonstrated some of the products to our folk. So I have to ask, what do you give us that I can't get from just plugging a dongle onto the bottom of my phone?
Well, I think a lot of it is the military specs. It's the rigidity of this. With the other FLIR device that you connect to the phone, it could break. And it's not with you all the time. You've got it in a drawer, you've got it other places. I think also the price point. You're getting a fantastic phone with FLIR in it, and be retailing it around $599 US. So from that perspective, if you got a phone that, we're dropping on concrete, it continues to work. It's got Gorilla Glass, the ability to use to maneuver it with gloves on, in hot and cold environments, well protected, and it's a fantastic Android device with Marshmallow on it as well. So all the features that you want in your hand, and a good solid piece of equipment.
Peter, one of the things that I like about this type of product is you're taking technology that we're not really sure what are the limits of its usefulness. We know that it definitely has an industrial application. Personally, I would use it in a data center, so I would know where the hot spots are, where I'm getting maybe a little too much power load on a rack of servers. But if you take the technology and put it into a nice package and give it to people at a decent price point, we never know what they're going to end up using it for. Where would you like to see the cat in a year?
So I think from a perspective of opportunities for us, security services, I think it's going to be fantastic. It'll add to the safety of people around the world. We're having a lot of interest in South Africa and the Middle East and Latin America from a security perspective. We think that's going to be really adding something to the world from that perspective to give people some better comfort around security. But then there's also the everyday uses. Frankly, you can tell if your propane gas is about out in your propane tank because propane has a different temperature to the air. You can also check your hot chocolate. Is it too hot to give to your 3-year-old? You can also check the temperature on your milk that you're going to be giving to your baby. All sorts of stuff. We've even had estimates of, police trying to use it if there's an abandoned car. You can tell if someone's left it an hour ago, how many people might have been in the car. So there's really a lot of uses, and a lot of plumbers and electricians and DIY people are interested to use it as well.
Peter, if they wanted to find out more about the Cat phone, more about the Bullet Group, more about you, where can they go online?
The great place to go is catphones.com. The phone is going to be available in June globally, and we're very excited about our partnership with Verizon on one of our earlier devices, the S50C, which is available in Verizon in the enterprise segment. And then this will be in multiple operators and also in retail in the United States after June.
Thank you very much for speaking with us, Peter. Thank you for showing us the Cat phone. Folks, the Cat phone lets you know what's hot and what's not. The slogan of MWC is everything is mobile, and I think we've seen that in every booth we've stopped by today. From devices that protect your security, to the latest and greatest in global communications, to the latest in 5G wireless communications technology, we've seen how intelligence has been baked into pretty much everything. Now, don't forget to stop by tomorrow because we're going to continue our coverage of Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. Until then, I'm Father Robert Balacer, the digital Jesuit from TWiT TV, saying goodbye from Mobile World Congress 2016, Day 2.